Imagine you're sitting across from someone you've loved for decades, and they ask you the same question for the third time in 10 minutes. Your heart sinks a little because deep down, you're wondering if this is just normal aging or something more serious. If you're watching this video, chances are you or someone you care about has experienced moments like these, and you're looking for answers. Dementia affects millions of people worldwide, but here's something important to understand. Recognizing the early signs doesn't mean jumping to conclusions. Instead, it means being informed enough to seek professional guidance when patterns emerge. Early detection can lead to better management, improved quality of life, and more time to plan for the future. Today, we're going to explore the 10 early warning signs of dementia that every senior and their family members should know about. Before we start, consider subscribing to our channel. Now, let's dive in. Sign 1. Memory loss that disrupts daily life. The first early sign we need to discuss is memory loss that goes beyond typical age-related forgetfulness. We all misplace our keys or forget a name occasionally, but with early dementia, memory problems start interfering with daily activities and responsibilities. You might notice someone forgetting recently learned information, important dates, or events. They may ask for the same information repeatedly or rely heavily on memory aids like sticky notes or family members for things they used to handle independently. The key difference is that this type of memory loss affects their ability to function normally. For example, forgetting how to get to a familiar location, not remembering conversations from earlier in the day, or repeatedly asking about events that were just discussed. These aren't just senior moments. They're patterns that persist and worsen over time. Sign 2. Challenges in planning or solving problems. The second early sign involves difficulties with planning activities or solving problems that were once routine. This might show up as trouble following a familiar recipe, managing monthly bills, or keeping track of regular appointments and commitments. You might notice someone struggling with tasks that require concentration and step-by-step thinking. They may have trouble working with numbers, take much longer to complete familiar tasks, or have difficulty following a plan from start to finish. These challenges often become apparent in activities like cooking, managing finances, or organizing household tasks. A practical example might be someone who always managed their checkbook suddenly making frequent errors or forgetting to pay bills that were once handled automatically. Or perhaps they can no longer follow their favorite recipe that they've made countless times before. Sign 3. Difficulty completing familiar tasks. The third early warning sign is having trouble completing familiar tasks at home, work, or during leisure activities. This goes beyond occasional confusion and represents a real change in the ability to perform routine activities that were once second nature. You might notice someone struggling to drive to a familiar location, forgetting the rules of a favorite game, or having difficulty managing settings on household appliances they've used for years. These tasks require multiple steps and cognitive coordination that can become challenging in early dementia. For instance, someone might forget how to operate their washing machine, struggle with the remote control for their television, or have difficulty remembering the sequence of steps needed to make their morning coffee. These aren't just moments of distraction. They represent a genuine difficulty in processing and executing familiar routines. Sign 4. Confusion with time or place. The fourth early sign involves confusion about time, dates, seasons, or places. People experiencing early dementia may lose track of dates, seasons, and the passage of time. They might forget where they are or how they got there, which can be particularly concerning for safety reasons. This confusion might manifest as getting lost in familiar neighborhoods, forgetting what day or month it is, or becoming disoriented about their current location. Unlike typical age-related moments of confusion, this disorientation persists and can cause significant distress or safety concerns. You might notice someone asking repeatedly what day it is, showing up for appointments on the wrong day, or becoming confused about whether it's morning or evening. They may also have difficulty understanding events that are not happening immediately in the present moment. Sign 5. Trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships. The fifth early warning sign involves difficulty understanding visual information and spatial relationships. This can affect reading, judging distance, determining color or contrast, or recognizing familiar objects and faces. These changes can significantly impact daily safety and independence. You might notice someone having trouble reading signs, difficulty judging distances while driving, or problems with depth perception when walking up or down stairs. They may struggle to recognize familiar faces or have difficulty distinguishing between similar-looking objects. These visual spatial challenges can make activities like driving, cooking, or even walking safely quite challenging. For example, someone might misjudge the distance between their car and the garage wall, have trouble reading medication labels, or struggle to distinguish between different coins or bills. They may also have difficulty recognizing themselves in mirrors or photographs, which can be particularly distressing. Before we continue with the remaining signs, I want to remind you that this information is meant to be educational and empowering. If you're finding this video helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel and sharing it with someone who might benefit from this knowledge. Your engagement helps us reach more people who need reliable health information. Sign 6. New problems with words in speaking or writing. The sixth early sign involves new difficulties with vocabulary, speaking, or writing. People may struggle to find the right words, call things by the wrong names, or have trouble following or joining conversations. These communication challenges can be frustrating and isolating. You might notice someone stopping in the middle of conversations, struggling to find common words, or calling objects by incorrect names. They may repeat themselves frequently or have trouble following the flow of group conversations. Writing may become more difficult, with frequent spelling errors or trouble organizing thoughts on paper. For instance, someone might call a watch a hand clock because they can't remember the correct word, or they might lose their train of thought mid-sentence and be unable to continue. They may also struggle to understand complex conversations or written instructions that were once easily manageable. Sign 7. Misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace steps. The seventh early warning sign is frequently misplacing items and being unable to retrace steps to find them. Everyone occasionally misplaces things, but people with early dementia may put things in unusual places and be unable to think back through their actions to locate them. You might notice someone putting items in strange locations, like placing the remote control in the refrigerator or storing important documents in unusual places. They may also become suspicious of others, believing that someone has stolen their misplaced items. This can create tension in relationships and cause significant distress. Unlike typical forgetfulness, this pattern involves placing objects in illogical locations and complete inability to remember the sequence of actions that led to the misplacement. They may search frantically for items or make accusations about theft when they cannot locate their belongings. Sign 8. Decreased or poor judgment. The eighth early sign involves changes in judgment or decision-making abilities. People may experience changes in their ability to make sound decisions, particularly regarding money, personal safety, or social situations. This can make them vulnerable to scams or poor financial decisions. You might notice someone giving large amounts of money to telemarketers, falling for obvious scams, or making poor decisions about personal hygiene or appropriate clothing for weather conditions. They may also show poor judgment in social situations or make decisions that seem completely out of character. For example, someone who is always careful with money might suddenly make large, unnecessary purchases or give away significant sums to strangers. They might dress inappropriately for the weather or neglect personal grooming that was once important to them. These changes in judgment can have serious consequences for their safety and financial security. Sign 9. Withdrawal from work or social activities. The ninth early warning sign is withdrawal from work projects, social activities, or hobbies that were once enjoyable and meaningful. People may begin to remove themselves from social engagement, work activities, or recreational pursuits because they notice changes in their abilities. You might notice someone avoiding social gatherings they once enjoyed, giving up hobbies they were passionate about, or withdrawing from work responsibilities. They may become less interested in spending time with family and friends or participating in community activities. This withdrawal often occurs because they're aware of their cognitive changes and feel embarrassed or frustrated. For instance, someone who loved playing bridge might stop attending their weekly game, or a person who enjoyed volunteering might suddenly quit their position. They may decline social invitations or make excuses to avoid situations where their cognitive changes might be noticeable. Sign 10, changes in mood and personality. The 10th and final early sign involves changes in mood and personality. People with early dementia may experience mood swings, become unusually suspicious, depressed, fearful, or anxious. They may become easily upset in situations that are outside their comfort zone or routine. You might notice someone becoming more irritable, anxious, or depressed than usual. They may show increased suspicion of family members or friends, become fearful of situations that never bothered them before, or display personality changes that seem completely out of character. These emotional changes can be particularly difficult for family members to understand and accept. For example, someone who was always trusting might become suspicious of everyone's motives, or a person who was typically calm might become easily irritated by minor disruptions to their routine. They may also show increased anxiety about future events or become unusually dependent on a particular family member. Before we wrap up, I want to emphasize that noticing one or even several of these signs doesn't automatically mean dementia. Many conditions can cause similar symptoms, and some are completely treatable. The key is early professional evaluation when patterns emerge, because early intervention can make a significant difference in outcomes. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Whether you're concerned about yourself or a loved one, there are healthcare professionals, support groups, and resources available to help. The most important step is having an open conversation with a healthcare provider who can conduct proper evaluation and provide guidance. This video is intended for informational and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you experience any symptoms, discomfort, or health concerns, please consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider. Before making any changes to your diet, supplements, or lifestyle, always talk to your doctor. If you found this information helpful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Remember, knowledge is power, and being informed about these early signs can help you advocate for yourself or your loved ones more effectively. Stay healthy, stay informed, and take care of yourself and those you love.